Hey everybody, welcome to Lamb Living. My name is Holly Lamb, and in today's video I'm doing some fall crafting because it's October and it's this time of year that we just love to start putting out the yard decorations, and I decorate up the porch and the back deck. And in today's video I'm going to show you one of my pride and joys, actually two of my pride and joys. The end of this summer are right here. I've never grown sunflowers before, and these two made it through Hurricane Helene and just flowered last week, and I'm just loving them right now here in the beginning of October. I know a lot of creators are already doing Christmas crafting, and I'm getting excited about it, but I'm just not ready to give up fall crafting yet. I'm still having so much fun decorating for fall. I just love the colors and all the the different cuteness of Halloween, and I'm going to do some cute little Halloween DIYs for you today. And I'm going to use some of this mesh to wrap my pillows on the front porch and to do some other things. And so let's go ahead and start with this little cutie. I like to a lot of times put two Dollar Tree signs together, and I find that wood glue, and you can get wood glue at the Dollar Tree, but I love this clear wood glue, and so I was just at the end of this one, and I decided to use it on this project. Now, I'm going to just spread it out a little bit, but then I'm going to put down a piece of cardstock here. This is just, I get this cardstock, in a ream from Walmart. And it's what I print out things on when I want to, frame them or whatever. And so I want to take out the scary face of this little ghost, and we're going to make him a cute ghost, not a scary ghost. And I wanted something for my lightweight spackle to hold on to. So as I, very often like to put two signs together just to make it a little more substantial, I had a purpose for this too. I wanted to sandwich that cardstock in the middle. And then I'm going to take this lightweight spackle that I got from Family Dollar for $4. It's wonderful. It's almost like spreading icing. And this spackle is just a real easy product. Now, I'm putting it on there with a plastic knife, but then I'm also going to just use my finger to try to get in all those crevices. I want it to look like one sign, like it always has been, just one sign. And then you can see on the face and the mouth and the eyes, I've got it caked up to where it's a little bit higher. And of course, I'm taking care of that little hole. We don't want that hole to show. I want to, cake up that lightweight spackle a little higher than the actual wood, so that when I do my light circular sanding there, then I have a smooth surface. I'm not, there's nothing, no indentions. And it comes out really good. I'm really pleased with it. Now, I also do the insurance of using a textured paint here in just a second. Of course, I want to get everything sanded down to, like if it were originally been this thickness and this shape. Now, I had some folk art matte wicker white. That's wicker white in the folk art. I had this bottle, and it was an older bottle, so it is already pretty thick. But I'm going to add some baking soda here in an old salsa jar, and I'm going to mix that up to where it's really thick. You can see I'm just kind of, scooping it out there with my, plastic knife. And then I'm just spreading this out, trying to spread it almost kind of like an icing again, to where it's as even as possible. And using kind of a light touch. I do want to get the sides as well. I got the one side, and then we'll go ahead and do the other side, even though the back won't show. I like for my projects to be kind of finished. So you can see there. Can't see that face anymore. And so now we just have a cute little white ghost. Adorable. Now this sign was awfully cute. I actually bought it last year, and but the colors were wrong. Here is what a regular candy corn looks, and I have one there, and I'm going to eat it now. Okay, there we go. There it goes. I love candy corn. But I wanted it to be a little more candy corn color, and this orange is too dark, and that honestly, that was more of a mustard. This is Beeswax by Folk Art, And I thought these colors matched my real candy corn just perfectly. And so I'm going to put baking soda in those as well, because I'm not doing a thing with these glittery letters. I'm just going to paint right over them with my texture paint. Do 2 coats of that. I get the sides as well. The back is going to be glued onto the front of the ghost. It's like the ghost is holding the big candy corn. He's got him a big treat. And that bow there is raised, so I'm going to just kind of leave that bow, and I will come back with a paint pen and highlight the bow a little bit in just a little while. Here goes the second coat of our textured paint. And I didn't put any tape down or anything. I just kind of, it may not be perfect, but it's a candy corn. The candy corns aren't perfect either. So I'm using my 80 grit and 100 grit nail files that I ordered from Amazon. And I'm just going to make sure that my ghost and my candy corn, you can see it's a little cockeyed, but we're just going to even everything up. I'm especially going to be going over the in between the colors. Here I go, to make sure, when I tried to edge right there on the between the colors, I didn't get like a bump of paint. I didn't want that to show. I wanted it to be as smooth as possible. So I'm just taking a dry tissue and rubbing off that dry powder so that I didn't, get it all mushed onto one color or another. All right. Now that I have it just so, here is what I'm going to be putting on here. Just give me candy and call me boo. And so I'm going to start off with the Call Me Boo. And I'm going to use the old-fashioned technique of taking your pencil lead and, just scratching out pencil lead on the back side. And then going over this printed out, saying that I made this on Google Docs. And I kind of sized it to fit my sign here. There we go, and I'll show you. It's light, but I'm going to go over all of that with this black Sharpie paint marker. It's an oil-based paint marker. I got this at Hobby Lobby. Walmart also has Sharpie markers, paint markers, and another brand as well. I can't think off the top of my head, but they have a nice selection of paint markers if you're in Walmart and you're looking on the craft aisle. And I did the little trick of the down strokes. I tried to make them just a wee bit thicker than if I were coming around the side. So anything that went up and down, I tried to make just a little bit thicker. And I thought that turned out really nice. I also did that on the candy corn. And I'm going to use my paint marker on the eyes. I'm going to make some big oval eyes. So it's just the cutest ghost you've ever seen. And a teeny tiny mouth to go with those big eyes. And we'll just fill all that in with our paint marker. And it's, it just kept on going. These Sharpie paint markers, they last a while. They're really great. All right, now to seal in all this chalk paint and this matte paint, I wanted to take it outside, and before I wax, I wanted to seal it with a matte clear sealer. There we go. Now, we're going to put that on with Titebond Quick and Thick. I ran out of wood glue, so I've moved on to my Titebond. And because I couldn't get clamps on the middle of my sign, I didn't have any big clamps. I only had the little ones. So I'm just going to use hot glue as the clamp for the middle. But the wood glue, the Titebond Quick and Thick, that's going to do the real work here, getting it to stay together. Now I'm just going to take a white paint marker, and I'm going to, give a little twinkle to our little ghostie's eyes. And now I'm going to do my final touch, and I'm going to use DIY's white wax, because I think everything looks better white waxed. It was awfully cute as is. Now you can see that I put a little bit of white on the lettering. I'm going to go back and cover that up. I didn't like it in the end. I tried it, and I guess it was okay, but I just wanted it to be a little more simple. So I did go back over my letters with the paint marker again, and then just a little bit more white wax on top of that. Now I'm going to make a hanger here. I thought it was it was a very simple white and, just block color project. So a little bit of shine and shimmer on top for the hanger I thought would be kind of nice. So I had this in my box of ribbons. Here we go. I'm going to make sure it's going to hang straight, and then I'm just going to tie a shoelace bow out of this same ribbon on that knot up there. Put a little bit of packing tape just to ensure it's going to stay still. And there it is. Little tied bow, and I just love how my cute little ghostie turned out. She's just a cutie. And when my daughter saw this, she came over and she said, well, I've got to have this. Because her cat, well, it's actually Chandler's cat, before they got married. That's Boo, and that's my daughter. So she said, I got to have this for my front door. So this is going to her house next. Okay, let's move on to the next project. Now I'm back in the Dollar Tree, and they had some really cute little plastic. I look at these and I see blanks. I don't see things to drink out of. I see things to craft with. And look at those cute little paper plates. Now I'm going to use the mop head, and this little bucket I found that same day, and I liked it because of the shape and the size. It was a good size. I'm going to take off the handles, and I'm going to end up not using that top. We're going to create our own peduncle, our own pumpkin stem, and I'll show you how I do that in a minute. Now that paint is just trim paint from when my husband and I were redoing, or my husband actually, I just helped paint trim. Redid our bathroom this summer, and he did a beautiful job. I'll have to show sometime. Now, this is just how easy it is to work with this mop head. There's no cutting involved. You don't have to mess with that little black holder. You just pull the mop strands out, and they just wiggle right out of there, and the more you get out, the easier it is. So it turns out that if I snip them in half, that was going to be the perfect size to go down the sides of this pumpkin, and I don't end up gluing all of the, it all the way down. I just have to get the tops, and then I'm going to glue it right underneath. And the cool thing about this little bucket, this little pumpkin bucket, is do you see how indented that is on the bottom? It has plenty of space to put this mop head yarn in the bottom so that it wouldn't sit kind of funny and real high. So it set nice and even because there was plenty of space for me to put the ends of those, strands of yarn. There we go. And I even, in the process of painting it and drying it, I dented one side, but we won't be able to tell any of that because this yarn is chunky. Now, after I did 4 strands in the little interiors of the bumps, I'm going to come back and really fill in the in-betweens and bulk it up. So I'm not starting all the way up there at the top. I'm starting right where it needed it. So you can see if I show it, how I just kind of pushed it into those sections that I'm working on right now, and then covered it up with long strands. So it was a nice, smooth, but still bumpy pumpkin texture, exactly the way pumpkins are. And now I'm going to make my own pumpkin stem or peduncle. And I'm going to create the twisty stem. There we go. I'm giving it a twist. And then pulling it right out of there so I could cover it with this paper tape, this paper wire. I got this at Michael's. They have several colors. I'm using the brown just to kind of keep a color theme going here, a nice neutral color palette. And I'm just going to wrap this. I didn't worry about painting the aluminum foil. I'm just going to wrap it until I can't see that aluminum foil. And then I'm just using hot glue and being very careful not to burn myself. I do have it on a low setting. A, so I won't burn myself, and B, so it'll dry quickly. The hotter setting you have it on, you have to really sit there and hold. So the lower setting, it might be a little harder to squeeze out with the trigger, but it certainly dries faster. And so I'm just going to put that down in there because, of course, the mop head strands really closed up that top to where this did not seem unnatural, this thickness of pumpkin stem. Now that is just muslin that I have coffee stained with that coffee grunge mixture that I use a lot. And then these cotton pods have been used on this and that, so I just trimmed them up a little bit. They've been pulled out. And then I'm just going to trim or glue 2 of them to the top of my pumpkin there, and then I'm going to just rough up the edges where I cut it off so everything looks nice and worn. And I love this neutral palette on my hutch in the dining room with just a few little blue and white accents. And I love the bumps and the texture of this pumpkin. I really enjoy how it turned out. And aluminum foil is a really great filler for all kinds of things that you're creating. You'd never know that was aluminum foil. Alrighty, now we're moving into Target Dollar Spot, and these little erasers caught my eye. It's got a ghost and a pumpkin or a jack-o'-lantern and a black cat. And so I'm going to be using some of my Rub and Buff as I have in the past. I just got finished doing some farm animals. I'll show you some of those in just a few minutes. But, and then earlier at Easter time, I did some bunnies in this technique. And so when I saw those erasers, I thought, I have got to try my little Rub and Buff technique with this. And then I'm going to take it a few more steps further and do a few others because I have a lot of erasers there. So I thought I would just play a little bit. See, I think fall crafting, because it can be real rustic and you can just, or it can be real silly looking, or it can be all kinds of things. Fall crafting is just fun. All right, so this is the Spanish copper, which turned out beautifully with all my previous projects. So I knew that I would love this for Halloween. And look how cute. I love that Spanish copper. That is a pretty, pretty color. Gorgeous. Look at the jack-o'-lantern. You can still see his little face. All right, so we got to try some gold leaf. This Rub and Buff I bought for my daughter's wedding. That was kind of what we put on lots of different frames and things so that they would be the same color. Now, when I do the gold leaf and the Spanish copper on these ghosts, their features were not indented. So I'm going to have to go back with a paint marker, a black paint marker that I used before on the ghost sign, and I'm going to have to create his little face again. But now the cat and the jack-o'-lantern, their features were indented. They were carved in, so that I didn't have to do anything on those. All right, let's try some white wax this time. I didn't do white wax on my farm animals this summer, so I wanted to try white wax on these 3, and I really liked it. Of course, I love white wax on most things. The one thing I didn't really, the black cat. I don't know about the black cat white waxed. It's okay. But I really like the ghost, and I really like the jack-o'-lantern. I thought the DIY white wax looked very cute. All right, now ground cinnamon has gotten into my repertoire as of this summer when I've been watching some crafters, Tracy Campbell and Mother Time. They like to put cinnamon on everything. So here's some of the cinnamon and Spanish copper farm animals I did this past summer. And I love the way the cinnamon turns out. And of course, cinnamon is not going to attract bugs or anything. Actually, I've heard in some crafters say that it's a deterrent to bugs. So, hey, whatever works. And I love the way these turned out. I just kind of rolled it around. I didn't want it to get too clumpy. So I was just kind of rolling them around there. So cute. Woo. And then my last treatment to these erasers is going to be glitter. This, of course, is the glitter section at Hobby Lobby. It's so small, but just makes everything so pretty. And this is the Spanish copper from Hobby Lobby. Love it. And then I'm going to use my favorite glitter from Hobby Lobby. This is just simply called Crystal. And it has no iridescence in it. It just is a clear, chunky, clear glitter. And it shows whatever color you're putting it on, it shows through. Now, the Black Cats had to have this onyx glitter. This is from Walmart. I found it in the clearance section, but you can find it normally over in the crafter section as well. But these little black cats and their little black glitter had a little bit of a purple cast to it, but it was called onyx. So obviously it's supposed to be black. Here I am just adding a few little features and details. The cinnamon ghost, and I actually ended up putting some details on the cat as well. Now, after I put the paint pen on, I like to dab a little bit of cinnamon, or in this case, a little bit of the gold leaf rub and buff, or copper rub and buff, on top to make it look a little bit worn. Not so perfect. And there we go. See? Just dab a little cinnamon on top of the marker. Clean off my marker tip and put it up. And then I put these little cuties all throughout my hutch here in the living room. Look, that's the Spanish copper. Oh my goodness. And that's the white wax. And this little corn husk mother and daughter has the Spanish copper and the glitter ghosts hanging around. And this little lady has her golden cat and the orange pumpkins. And here's the glitter cats in their acorn crackled village scene. And then, boo! Look how sweet. He's just sparkling. I love it. All right, back to my little prides and joys. I just had to show it again. I'm so proud of them. Okay, let's go on to my porch. I took that orange mesh from the Dollar Tree and I used it on the pillows. I put a little bit on the end of my flag there. And now let's take a look at this little inflatable. You know my husband and I are fans of inflatables, but we usually get the inflatables that have a fan. You know, that'll blow up or they'll deflate if we want to unplug them. But this, of course, does not plug up. It is something you have to manually or use a pump to blow up, and then it's like a beach ball. It's going to, do the little cap. But it also has a water reservoir to add weight to it so it won't tip over. So, I'm trying this out, seeing if it works. I wanted to put it outside, and it came with 2 stakes, and then you can see the little orange flap there. That's got the hole in it. You're supposed to stake it down in the ground. I'm going to do something a little bit different here, but I'm just have barely a drizzle going on in my water, and I'm trying to, I squeeze it together and get that water down in that reservoir. And then here he is. I haven't decorated him yet. I took 2 zip ties. I put one on one side and one on the other, and I just zip tied it to this old wicker chair that I usually have a plant sitting on. Okay, so now I'm going to use a combination of this mesh. And I've talked about this mesh before. I both love and hate this mesh. Oh, here's Yuri.
This is Yuri. This is Yuri. Daddy. He's a good boy.
Yuri is one of 2. He has a brother named Boris, and they live down the street, but Yuri spends most of the evening on my porch, and I keep a bowl of water out for him. I don't feed him because I know Carolyn down the street feeds him. That's where he lives, in their garage, but he and Boris kind of roam the neighborhood. Now I'm going to take a variety of ribbons here. These ribbons were given to me by a friend, Tammy, and Tammy gave me some of those beautiful ribbons, so I'm going to use those to decorate my inflatable pumpkin stack from the Dollar Tree. This, of course, was in the $5 section. I don't know if I mentioned that. So I'm just using, I'm just doing loopy bows with zip ties. That's all it is. And then I'm tying the mesh just once. Mesh holds onto itself. It's so easy to deal with, and the ends want to curl. So there's no curling involved because they've been wrapped up and they just want to curl. So I love using mesh. You know, it'll stick on itself, which can be a little frustrating, but if you're in for the fight, mesh is really easy to use. All right, so I'm looking for zip ties there, and I'm going to just zip tie it to the mesh. I tied it nice and tight around that stem there, so hopefully, you know, it's been up for a couple of days now. I will, of course, take it inside before this next hurricane hits. I think we're just going to get outer bands, but it's going to have to go inside. There's Yuri. So I did 2 loopy bows on either side of the top, and then I just did a real big one and wrapped some of that tulle around in the middle. And I just love the way this guy looks. He's been holding up beautifully. So I'll let you know how it goes toward the end, maybe toward Halloween. All right, now this little guy's looked cute all summer. I found him early in the summer at the Restore, our Habitat for Humanity. And it's a nice metal. Obviously, it's supposed to hang a little hanging plant or something, but I've just had it sitting out there saying welcome to everybody, and with that sweet little grin. But it's time to fallify it, and so I'm just going to take some of the paints I've been using in this video, along with just a brown acrylic from the Dollar Tree. And we're just going to I'm just playing with it here. I'm going to cover up that welcome with just one coat of the chalk paint ink. It's a Waverly from Walmart. And then it was a little bit indented, so I could see where the welcome was. It was hard to see there on the video, but I can see where the welcome was because it is in the metal. And so it was easy for me to almost like it was traced on there like I did before with the little pencil lead trick. And now I'm just making it nice and dark. And I was trying to force a little bit of crackle on my flower there in the center because I really caked up the paint in the middle. And I did get a little bit of a texture. You'll see it here in just a few minutes. But this was the shading that I really liked after I did my final coat, was my nail polish. I got these 2 colors from the Dollar Tree, and I wanted to show you the numbers there. It's a kind of an olive color, and I just did some shading on my little sunflower here. I just started toward the bottom of the petal and just dry brushed out as the nail polish would kind of dry out, as it does as you're painting. And I really like the way this added a little bit of color and dimension. Now I'm going to take this outside and use a crystal clear enamel because I wanted it to be shiny and I wanted it to be protected, of course, against the weather. Here in South Georgia, we get lots of weather. And it was dark when I wanted to show you the texture there in the middle. So I just brought it inside, and I just love the way this turned out. With the, the caked up, dried, crackled paint in the middle, and then the glossy enamel finish. And I think he is ready for the fall. He's going out front. All right, now I just wanted to show you a few more of my cute little ghosts and pumpkins here in my dining room. I have these all over the place. There were so many erasers in that package. Still a couple little farm animals hanging around. My cute little pumpkin. I just love the way I put it under a little cloche there. Just love the way that looks. And here's our Boo. This is the last little bit of Boo in this house because he's going over to my daughter's soon. Such a cute little ghost. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way through this video, I'm just so thankful. I hope that you'll hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. That would just tickle me to death to have you as a part of our YouTube family here. And I want to read to you from Matthew 13:30 through 32. Let both grow together until harvest, At that time I will tell the harvesters, first collect the weeds and tie them in bundles to be burned, then gather the wheat and bring it to my barn. The rest of the verse is listed below. I just want to say from the blue house on the